Bulls Nation, today we had a game against the Miami Heat and the beginning of what is seen as our hardest schedule of the season, and definitely the hardest schedule for three teams to make that play-in tournament from 10th to 12th. The Chicago Bulls definitely had a long experience, and today was another game. The Miami Heat, very difficult game, and overall we were dominated in the majority of this game. However, the Chicago Bulls over the course of the second half kept things relatively competitive, and in the end we fought back with a fantastic fourth quarter, but it just wasn't enough. So let's talk about the Chicago Bulls versus the Miami Heat, and let's do it in this video. Let's do it. What's up, everybody? It's the Aidan Sports Show, and welcome back to another video. Today we've got a Chicago Bulls versus Miami Heat game reaction. The Chicago Bulls, the beginning of their hardest schedule of the season, was against the Miami Heat, the beginning of what could be seen as the end for many people, or the beginning of something special. But in the end, the Chicago Bulls started off this game against the Miami Heat, and in the end it was a very bad performance for, I would say, 3 quarters of that game. But the Chicago Bulls in the fourth quarter fought all the way back to make it a very respectable loss in the end. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Aidan Sports Show YouTube channel. Turn notifications on and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls overall. Were we good? Were we bad? And again, significance of the loss or significance of what our season will be because of this game. The scoreline for this game was 106 to 101. Again, the Chicago Bulls fought all the way back to make it very respectable and to make it very competitive. In the end, we actually fought very hard in today's game. So I can't really complain about the fourth quarter effort, but overall, the first 3 quarters, in my opinion, for the Chicago Bulls were not great. And that is something that, again, it's inconsistent quarters. We've always said this about the Chicago Bulls. It's always the inconsistencies that gets the best of us. Some quarters, some games, we play some elite basketball and we go all the way and dominate teams and decimate teams in many ways, especially defensively. Now, I don't think it was the best or worst defensive game today. It was just an ordinary game for the Chicago Bulls in my eyes. But other games we can see, like the first quarter, Miami Heat outscored the Chicago Bulls 33 to 18. But however, in the fourth quarter, we outscored the Miami Heat 38 to 26. So in the end, the Chicago Bulls had a fantastic fourth quarter, but a dreadful first quarter. And I think that's the difference in the game there. That's truly it. We started off the game badly and we continued to play badly throughout 3 quarters. And in the fourth quarter, we played like we've never played before. And again, it is what it is with the Chicago Bulls. I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to rant about a good comeback from the Chicago Bulls and ultimately a game that we could have won if it wasn't for a few plays down the stretch that really cost us very badly. And we'll get to that a little bit later on. In the end, I'm not going to complain or I'm not going to cry. In the end, I'm not shocked by a performance like this. I'm truly not. I don't think any performance that would have happened today, whether we did lose by 20, which was the case the majority of the game, or whether we won the game by 1 point, I wasn't going to be surprised because this team is too inconsistent for me to know or understand just exactly what this team's capable of doing. So I'm not shocked that we lost this game even though we came back. And I wasn't going to be shocked if we lost by 20. And I wasn't going to be shocked if we end up winning the game coming back from a 24-point deficit. I wasn't going to be shocked because in the end, you just don't know with the Chicago Bulls team. But in the end, we faced the music today. The fourth quarter was a great comeback. I really enjoyed the fourth quarter. I didn't really enjoy this game overall, but I enjoyed the fourth quarter. And again, we just ended up coming up a few points short. And in the end, it could have been a winnable game, of course. We did a lot of good things in that fourth quarter, but 2 plays, in my opinion, really took the game away from us. And we'll get to that later on once again. Now, I'm not going to mention too many people in the individual performance. I'm really not. I'm actually only going to mention 2 people, to be honest, because the retrospect of this game, not many people had a terrific game. Again, this was a very low-scoring game. What really impacted this game was defensively. This was a defensive-minded game from both teams. Now, the Chicago Bulls did many mistakes in that retrospect, but I'm not going to fault their defense in a way, because most of the time, I'm not going to say all the time, because again, you had Robertson shooting ridiculously open threes. You had some pick and roll defense. Obviously, Jimmy Butler and Bam, very hard to guard. In the end, we weren't terrific defensively, but I do think we played a little bit better defensively than the average the Chicago Bulls would play defensively. I thought we played slightly better than that. But in the end, over the course of the last 2 weeks defensively, or I guess the course of this week with the Celtics and the Cavs and the Hornets, we played a little bit worse. And again, this is probably the better team out of all of them with all their players back, except they didn't have Dragic or Tyler Hero, and we capitalized on that, to be fair, with our bench. But again, I'm kind of going on a slight little rant, I guess. The turnovers for the Chicago Bulls was costly once again. A problem that's been happening all season has not ended up, I guess, fixing itself. Again, all season this has been an issue, and all season this remains to be an issue. One thing I do also want to say is that I didn't agree with some of the coaching decisions in today's game, especially when it comes to the defensive end of the ball. Again, we played good defense, and I'm not going to say that we didn't play good defense, but I didn't like the fact that we had at one stage Larry Marketing guarding Jimmy Butler and Larry Marketing guarding Iguodala, two smaller guys, two quicker guys, vertical movement or lateral movement, sorry. In the end, it was a complete mismatch. I did not agree with having a 7'1" guy guarding one of the best players in the NBA in Jimmy Butler and expecting him to do a good job. And of course, there were some instances in the game. Larry Marketing played well, but there were instances in the game where Jimmy Butler just went completely through him. Again, I didn't agree with that coaching decision, and that is something that I feel like should have really been rectified earlier than what it was. And it happened with a lot of other players as well. We played a lineup at one stage, I believe, with Vucevic, Daniel Tice, and Larry Marketing. I don't think this was the right game for that, but in the end, I could have been wrong. It was the right time against the Hornets. It just wasn't right against the Heat. I guess that's just two completely different teams. So, yeah. But again, individual performance, let's talk about it. Nikola Vucevic, 26 points, 6 assists, and 14 rebounds. He played well, Nikola Vucevic. Again, he's played very well against Miami for a long time now. Again, listening to both commentary teams and looking at how Miami see Nikola Vucevic, the Miami Heat commentary team, and the Bulls obviously as well. Yeah, Nikola Vucevic has played well against the Miami Heat for a long time now, and this is just another game where it seems to be the case. However, it didn't come with a victory. So in the end, this 26, 6 assists, and 14 rebound game is a great game from Nikola Vucevic, and in the end he got some help from another individual that we'll talk about very soon. But unfortunately, all of these things ends up leading to nothing because we didn't win the game, and this was a vital game in my opinion to win. With the harder schedule for the Chicago Bulls coming up, this is definitely the beginning of that. And again, Miami's a terrific team defensively, and they showed that. It was good to see Jimmy Butler as well, but in the end, Nikola Vucevic, it was a great game, unfortunately led to nothing. Kobe White, 35 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds. Now, this is, again, a game where Kobe White is fulfilling his potential in terms of the scoring end and in terms of, I guess, leading a team in many ways. This is a game where you like to see Kobe White. There were some negatives, of course, with Kobe White, and in the end, young player, you're gonna pick things out from his game. I don't know how many turnovers he had and whether the numbers are high or not. He definitely played a factor in the Bulls giving away almost 17, 18 turnovers in this game. He was definitely a major factor in that. So that's the big negative. And in the end, this was a Zach LaVine type game for Kobe White, where he had the 31 points and he had the 5 assists and he was facilitating and he was scoring and he was trying to bring his team back, and he was trying to do it, I guess, in many ways all on his own. And with that being said, with the bulk of the ball in his hands majority of the time, the turnovers are going to happen for him. So in the end, this is a game where you compare him to Zach LaVine in many ways, because Zach LaVine has these types of games as well, where he has 35 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds, but he turns the ball over 6 times. So in the end, it kind of balances itself out, and it's not really a playmaking effort. But Kobe White, in the 31 points, he had a terrific fourth quarter. In the end, he had 15 points, I believe, in the first half. And then he had 15 points or more, 16 points or something like that in the fourth quarter alone. So he definitely carried us and helped us come back in the game. And again, I really enjoyed his game over the past few games, not just this game specifically. Over the past few games, I've been very happy with Kobe White. And when Zach LaVine comes back, I truly believe we should give Kobe White another chance in the starting lineup. In the end, Kobe White's proven he's a much better starter than he's a bench player, and I don't know what the reason is. I don't know if it's a confidence issue or if it's trying to make an impression coming off the bench. I don't know what it is, but he plays so much more freely, and he plays with so much more intelligence in many ways when he's a starter compared to a bench player. In the bench player, it seems like he's going 100 miles per hour trying to make an impression on the Bulls, when the fact of the matter is, if he played the way he played coming off of the bench like this, of course with limited minutes and obviously not 31 points, of course you're not going to get that off the bench every single night, but if he just played a little bit more freely, coming off the bench or starting, this is the benefit of having Kobe White on the team. But again, a solid night, a solid week for the Chicago Bulls, a solid week for Kobe White. I guess a solid week for the Chicago Bulls as well. And in the end, we're going to move on from that. And I think that's all I'm really going to mention. I understand there are a lot of players that did play well. Daniel Tice had a 9-point and 6-rebound game. He played his standard game. Patrick Williams, 4 points, 1 assist. Again, not aggressive enough. That's been the norm. Garrett Temple, 2 points, 4 assists. Again, he works very hard. I don't think Garrett Temple had a great game today. Thaddeus Young, 6 points, 4 assists, 2 rebounds, 22 minutes played. He's playing very limited minutes these days, and I just don't know what's really happening on the scoring end for Thaddeus Young. But again, playmaking-wise, he's having his better season. Larry Markin, I believe, had 9 points. I don't remember Satoransky or Denzel Valentine's stats, to be honest, and I apologize for that, and I can't see it on the screen at this point in time. But again, Denzel played a very good fourth quarter. That's definitely easily to say, but he did cost us the game in many ways. And yeah, Satoransky, I can't remember. I apologize. I don't think Satoransky had a terrific game. And again, he's definitely someone that could be targeted as the must improve, but we'll get to that later. Speaking of the fourth quarter, and speaking of Denzel Valentine, again, I said Denzel Valentine cost us the game in many ways. And 2 possessions specifically where we were on the comeback, we were on the come up, I guess, and we were close to making the comeback be complete. In the end, it was very unlikely we were going to win the game regardless. 24 points down. We did come back. We made a valiant effort out of it. But Denzel Valentine made 2 costly plays in the fourth quarter that I think sealed the victory for the Miami Heat. A ridiculously long 3-point shot. In the end, he's made a bunch of 3-point shots in the fourth quarter alone. So I understand the willingness to take another 3-point shot. But again, when we talk about the fourth quarter and we talked about how Zach LaVine struggles taking the right shot selection or making the right play, that goes with everybody on the team as well. Just because you've been feeling it all night doesn't mean you need to take a shot from nearly half court to try and cement a 1-point deficit for the Chicago Bulls, and we can fight all our way back. Again, if he makes it, wow, it's going to be on the highlight reels for a long time to come, especially if we win the game as well. But when you don't make it, you look like an idiot taking a shot early in the shot clock and pretty much wasting an opportunity to get a better look. So that was the first thing for Denzel Valentine that really upset me. The fact of the matter is that last shot that he took, in my opinion, was an appalling shot. But if he makes it, no one complains. Very similar to Zach LaVine. If he makes a shot like that, Zach LaVine, no one will complain about it. But when he misses a shot like that, you mean to tell me we can't find a better shot than that with the early time on the shot clock? And again, we're having players running as well. We didn't need to take that shot. So in the end, not very happy with Denzel Valentine on that possession. And defensively, he gave away an and one. Again, it's a very tough and one to give. I don't think he did necessarily anything wrong except for fouling the guy. And yeah, 2 really poor plays from Denzel Valentine that I think took us out of the game when we're making our pretty decent comeback. So yeah, it's a bit upsetting. And again, I had to say it about Denzel Valentine in the end because he did have a solid game. But in the end, those 2 specific plays kind of cost us the game in many ways, or took us out of coming back from the game. I wouldn't say it cost us the game, but it took us out of any chance of winning the game. Moving on to the must improve, there are a few players you could put into this category. In my opinion, I'm going to pick Garrett Temple for the must improve. Played 33 minutes today, had 2 points, 4 assists. Not the best game from Garrett Temple. Again, the facilitating side of his game is always good to see. But in the end, if you're playing 33 minutes in this game, you're playing one of the leading minutes. You have one of the more leading minutes in the game. I mean, Kobe White played 38, Vucevic played 39, Garrett Temple right behind them with 33. And you only can score 2 points in this game. You gave away a lot of cheap fouls as well. It's just an unfortunate circumstance where Garrett Temple is by far, in my opinion, the must improve for today's game. Now, that doesn't mean he doesn't work hard. I still think he worked tremendously hard today. And I still think he played some solid defense. But in the end, the 33 minutes played and only getting 2 points in the game, in my opinion, is not good enough. And again, he's a corner shooter. He likes to shoot the corner shot. He took some mid-ranges today. In the end, I think he needed to be a little bit more aggressive as well. It's as simple as that. With Zach LaVine out, there is shots for everybody on this team. So the fact that Patrick Williams only has 4 points, Garrett Temple only has 2 points, Thaddeus Young only has 6 points, I believe Larry only had 9 points. At the end of the day, who was the other guy that scored over 10 points beside Kobe White and Nikola Vucevic? Who was it? It goes to show, to be fair, the scoring was not shared amongst everybody. This was not a balanced scoring effort. This was Kobe White and Nikola Vucevic with a little bit of sprinkles from everybody else. And I don't think that's the way to go for the Chicago Bulls. We're a much better team when we move the ball and we have balanced scoring from everybody. And that's not what we saw for the majority in today's game. And the player of the game, I would love to give it to Kobe White, to be honest, but I am going to give it to, once again, Nikola Vucevic. I think Kobe White, in my opinion, played very well scoring-wise. I don't think he was terrible defensively either, but in my opinion, it's the turnovers for me. Now, again, I could be saying this, and Nikola Vucevic has a bunch of turnovers as well. I really don't know the turnover stats, but just the way that I saw this game, the eye test, I guess you could say, Kobe White did play a decent part in a lot of the turnovers that we committed. Maybe he wasn't the one getting the turnover, because he could have made the pass that led to a turnover from someone else. So, again, that's my issue with Kobe White in today's game, but a really great game from him. And again, one that I think if we saw limited turnovers, this would be one of his best games of the season. And I still think this could classify as one of his best games of the season. But Nikola Vucevic, again, very consistent individual, an all-star, and someone that I believe has been playing very well as of late. And again, he's shown that once again with this team. In the end, we only lost by 5 points. Nikola Vucevic did his part in playing today. Again, he had a very hard matchup with Bam Adebayo. And again, Bam Adebayo is a terrific player. There's just no putting it. I'm a big fan of Bam Adebayo, and I think I've said it on this YouTube channel. Maybe I haven't, but I'm a massive fan of Bam Adebayo. Of course, Jimmy Butler as well, former Bull. Of course, you love to see Jimmy Butler do well. But in the end, I thought Nikola Vucevic played a hell of a game today, and I think he deserves the player of the game. Maybe people could just give it to Kobe White. Maybe there is someone else that I'm forgetting on this team that played well, but I am going to give it to Nikola Vucevic. The Bulls' record is 25-35. In the end, it was a valiant effort to come back, and it's a respectable effort as well to come back, but we fell short. And we need to move on to the next one. And the next one is, funnily enough, a rematch against the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat have already won the season series against us with a 2-0 record. But let's see if the Chicago Bulls can make it a respectable series and pick up a win. And again, a win is necessary. Where we are in the table right now, let us have a look. Again, I'm not sure if this is going to be updated or not at this point, but we are still 11th, which is truly where I believe the Chicago Bulls will finish. I believe the Raptors lost to New York, and I think the Wizards are on a 7-game win streak. So it's gonna be a tough ask, and it's gonna be a very tough climb for the Chicago Bulls. In the end, we have ridiculously hard games. The schedule for the Chicago Bulls is very difficult. So in the end, to ask the Chicago Bulls to make the play-in tournament, we should have done it much earlier than this. But now we have to deal with what's been put in front of us. We've got the Miami Heat next, and let's see what the Chicago Bulls will do. Hopefully this one will be, I guess, a better performance overall, and maybe it could lead to a victory, but not a comeback. I want to see the Bulls compete in this game. I don't want to see the Bulls go down by 20 to force themselves to come back. In the end, we left that comeback too late, but if we weren't down by 20 in the first place, we probably would have won this game. So the Chicago Bulls need to do better in that retrospect, but a very respectable comeback in my eyes, but it just wasn't enough. And again, losses sometimes, especially now, is all that matters. All that matters right now is we took the loss, and once again, we are making it even harder for the play-in tournament. Have a wonderful and safe day. Hopefully the next game against Miami, which is actually a few days from now. We're going to get a few days rest if you're a Chicago Bull, or at least a day. So, yeah, enjoy that day in Miami. I guess we're staying in Miami, and let's see what the Chicago Bulls are made of in the next one. Take care, and peace.